Lol. We are still live, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. I said I've gone live, but I don't know if I said I was live. Is it? Working fine for me.
It's working fine in certain ways, but like I can't search for something and then posting is getting crazy. It's not down for everybody, but it's down for me for sure. I was trying to look up a new video because you've seen the video where the girl was running a track and she like cracked the other girl in the back of the head.
Nope.
Okay, well, they were running track and the other girl, they're literally, you see in like a second motion, it's like she's quite clearly smacking her on the back of the head. There's allegedly a second video from behind that makes it more obvious that it was an accident, but I can't find that video, which I was trying to find it on Twitter. But
I don't know. That seems like a felony to me.
You want to see it? It's absolutely a felony from the front. There's no mistaking it. That's the girl pretending she cares.
Yeah.
Rears up.
Yeah, I don't give a damn what angle that's from. Yeah. It's intentional.
Allegedly, the second video.
I don't give a damn.
That really does look
that was 100% intentional. Her arms followed exactly the same pattern of motion until she was within striking range, and that's the only time her arm changed trajectory.
She's trying that she had like the thing got caught on the other girl, and so she was working on pumping her arms again. But she had to raise the other arm. Like, no, it doesn't make any kind of sense. She's like,
so bullshit.
She's like, I would never hit anyone on purpose. I know my intentions are to kill a girl. You cracked somebody else's skull.
Yeah, that's fucking.
I'm trying to find this other video though, because if there is another video, I'd like to see it and see what it shows. Because I'm always advocating about other angles and shit from other videos, so I
would still be interested in seeing it, but.
I would be remiss if I didn't find it. I can't find it as a thing. People are like, yeah, but we saw another angle. Bitch, where can I damn find it? Exactly, you can find it. I have a hard time searching on Instagram for things, which is why I was trying to go on Twitter to look for it, because that's easy to keyword search.
Right. I got stuff to do. Yeah. No, well, it was. It's not working now. I just tried to go to it, and it's
been down for a little bit now.
Probably a cyber attack against Musk. People don't like him much.
Stop it.
Stop what?
Stop it.
Stop what? Mm-hmm. No, it's right there. That right there. Right there. What? Go, come back. How dare. Sad. Sadness and depressedness. He's not hiding. He's just sat on the little spot over there so he doesn't get all messed up. Huh? Well, the turtle is Fred, and I don't think we've named a rubber ducky. He shouldn't be upside down. He was. Hey, you leave Fred alone. He's hanging out with my fortunes. Maybe my hands don't work good enough for that. Don't get away from my fortunes. My fortunes there. Fred was guarding them. Give my fortune cookie fortunes. Hello, Fred.
Yeah, Twitter. Like, I thought it was just me, because it was just doing weird stuff. So I restarted my phone. I'm just like, oh, yeah.
I wonder. Lol. Fox, I need you to go live so I can gamble.
Can you not do any of that?
It won't let me while I'm. It told me how many points I had, but when I tried to get it to do a trivia question, it's like we had an issue finding you a trivia question. Sons of bitches.
His bot may not be on.
I mean, it's on her. It wouldn't be replying to me. Huntsville, what the hell is this? Looks like garbage. Oh, wait, what? That's weird. Huh. Eh. Where's that other Survivor type game I just saw? Sherwood Defenders, Robin Hood, PvE tutorial. The hell? So many weird games. The Stepfather remake. Oh, this looks like some Castlevania style stuff. That's my kind of game right there. That looks like a Skeksis. That is, in fact, a Castlevania style game. If only I wasn't a broke bitch. Oh well. So go back to doing my courses and whatnot. Didn't I get me a drink while I was... Oh, I found it. I'm just dumb. What?
It should be okay. It was in this thing, so most of it should be. Are you just cleaning the screen?
That sticky shit on there?
That's also true. My goodness. Speaking of sticky shit, who did that get on there?
Yeah, but touch your screens.
Just careful because that also has cracks. Let's see if it maintains with baby. That would have been very hard to deal with. A pocket full of soda. It's getting up in a weird way. Hey.
Dams. We had a bit of a spill we had to take care of.
Maculo.
E.
Oh, where is? Oh, it's up there.
All on your desk. I'm gonna need an ID variable. One second.
And then it was in here. I was gonna go get some change.
I just saw a meme that was talking about a 20th level barbarian in D&D who rolls for intimidation, and he takes like dry noodles and puts them in his mouth and adds like just normal room temperature water, and then goes into a rage and uses the heat from his rage to boil the pasta. And then he adds some sauce and spits out spaghetti in front of his enemy. He's like, "What, bitch?" That's fucking great.
They get that hot.
Well, barbarians are fueled by rage, and yeah, they put off like a lot of fucking.
Right, but it
like,
gets to at least 212 degrees.
You would
And
think.
doesn't maybe that's why their intelligence is low. All those
Well, it's also one of their. They're a 20th level barbarian, which at that point in D&D, you're basically a demigod. Like you can literally go toe to toe with Tiamat, who is the mother of dragons. Like you're essentially a demigod anyway. You can jump off the fucking ISS and Superman land on the ground and not even lose half your health as a barbarian when you're raging. Also, thanks for the lurk, Shaw. I appreciate it, nerd. Ugh.
Shaw.
Shaw's a big old goopy nerd. That was very loud. Hmm. There it went. I was like, I know I'm missing something here. No, hang on. Two. Beautiful. Well, yeah, I think that's fine for now. And get back to working on, truly important things. See if I can break some shit. Not that I haven't already broke some shit at some point. Where is my notepad? Because that's got all my extra, code on it that I had this real bad habit of saving codes in Notepad in case I need to use them later. What? It's so annoying that it does that. Don't think I did not. Because I need my signal. To be able to pick that signal up, and then I'll convert that to. Oh, what up?
What up, man?
Trying to get this
I've got
damnable timer working.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I said I was just trying to get this damnable timer working. I pushed it through the other day, and everything went through. Then Tux did a bunch of stuff with like the terrain and things, and I guess we got to fix the textures on that. But we all pushed a bunch of stuff through, and then whenever I logged in yesterday morning and like pulled it all up, the timer and stuff I had made was completely gone. The phase script was still there for the timer, but the timer itself was like, I guess it got caught up in some kind of merge conflict or something. And the timer was
weird.
gone, the signal was gone. Like I was like, son of a bitch.
Because I was tinkering with it to just change it for like a function call from a signal or whatever, but the phase timer was definitely still there. So it might have been a mix of things. Maybe we lost the timer from something else, but I was definitely responsible for why like some of the signal stuff was reworked.
Well, yeah.
But I was just,
I don't.
what
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't mind the signal, like the code being reworked and stuff. Because I mean, let's face it, I'm not a professional. My code's not as optimized as it could be. The phase timer on the actual, like the timer itself, the node that got deleted. So I was
Oh,
like,
that's
oh, what
weird.
the
Yeah,
hell?
that was
Yeah.
definitely still there.
I was
Because I
like,
was
there's,
using it myself. Like
yeah,
I did like
we,
a really naive syncing up with the server at the beginning just to have the real time when I was excuse me,
right.
my goodness, have the real time when I was like testing dropping units. I could actually see how much time I really had left. But it was not like really complete or robust yet. I think the main thing that like throws me off about that pattern is just the signal, I think, in my head, should live where the source of the info comes from, like closer to the battle manager, and then the timer, which has to be responsible for how to display that information, as it should,
Right.
like consumes that signal somehow.
Yeah, that's what it was doing.
So
So if you scroll
yeah,
down to the bottom of the battle manager, like right here, it says
yeah.
emit signal phase timer update. So the only issue that
Oh,
we
right,
have
right.
with that is that the battle manager loads before the timer, and so it'll emit the signal before the timer's looking for the signal. So in the ready
Yeah.
statement, I put the await get tree process frame update phase timer, and that way it'll wait until
Oh, I can show you
the
an
phase
even
timer is
super.
ready.
I had a little epiphany with this when we were doing the visibility change stuff. You can actually, if you leave that off for a sec, because that technically might not be enough. Like if the phase timer doesn't get there in one frame, then one process frame wouldn't be enough, right? So like there's still potential for it to break. I can show you a little something. I got your stream pulled up by the way, so I can see the code
Oh,
you're looking at.
beautiful. I was about to go live in Discord just to
Oh,
be able
nice. Yeah,
to.
and I this is so weird, but I like almost am a million% sure I've been following you for years from the Morcus days, but apparently I wasn't. So my bad.
Oh, no, you're good. I mean, shit
Um,
happens. Twitch during all
yeah.
that hate raid shit busted up a bunch of people's follows and stuff because they had to roll back some servers and things. And
Oh,
yeah, there
okay.
was a
That
lot
makes
of
sense. Actually, that
crazy,
was around that time. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of crazy shit was going on back then, and Twitch had to do some sketchies.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, so in the when you go to call that like at the very bottom where you were, like where the the emit signal happens, right before you do that, if you can actually check you can basically like referencing the phase timer, you can say if not phase timer dot is node ready, and then in that if statement you can actually await the phase timer dot ready. So it specifically makes sure before it fires, when it does that, it has to be ready, which would only ever really block the first time when it's loading. After that, it'll pass right past that if statement.
Oh yeah, that's pretty freaking. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like coupled to like the behavior that you want, and then it's lazily loaded too. Like if you never end up caring about the phase timer, you're not waiting for it for no reason, when you first load up the rest of the scene kind of thing. So that helps with that. I think what I realized too is that emit, it's not the end of the world. If possible, what I'd like is a more clear typed reference, basically, because the emit signal there, you have to pass that loosey goosey string, and if that doesn't match up, like who knows what happens, right? That could change for some reasons. Like the name of it is different now.
Wait, the string.
There is. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think I pass any strings. It's an integer that gets passed into or a float rather. Right. Well, base timer update. It's talking about the name of the signal itself, which is just
Right. So
preset up here at the top. Base timer update float.
yeah. Oh, that's lives within the battle. Okay, gotcha. Oh, hey,
Yeah,
okay,
it
perfect.
lives
My
right
bad.
there at the top. Yeah.
Okay, then you know what? This is great. What you can do there is instead of doing emit signal and passing the string, what's cool now? I think this is a Godot 4 thing, so I think some of the older guides miss this. But you can actually just call phase timer update, like the literal variable dot emit, rather than do the emit signal and pass the string in of the name of it. So you know for sure it's there. So like if you were to like rename it or remove it, like it's going to error because there won't be that variable anymore. And
So
that'll just kind of
like
save us some sanity. Yeah. Yep.
like that,
Update
and
emit.
then
Yep. And then pass in the value. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I feel way better
do
about that.
new time like that. Oh wait,
Yeah.
nope. Expected closing. Forget to put something there. What did I do here?
Oh, I
It's
think you just have an extra.
gotta.
Yeah. I think that colon at the end was extra, and so is the float because I think you just defined it. Yeah. You just defined it above, so you can just pass in new time without the type.
Oh yeah, that's right. I put it right there so as it would just be already determined. Beautiful. So it'll just send
Yeah.
out that as a signal then.
Yeah, and what I would say too here is now that you have a nice function on the battle manager, like which it can just use, or if anything else needs to use it, it can. One tiny step left over, I'd say, is instead of new time being that variable in line, you can actually just have new time be a single argument that you pass to that function update phase timer. So whatever is calling it can say, hey, here's your new time. and then I think we'll have a really good flow of the data.
Oh,
where
so
we
how
need
do
it.
we? Because
Pretty sure
Oh.
if you take the new time :float that you have on that line and just take that out and put it inside the parentheses of the update phase timer on 1347. Basically, that's saying, hey, here's the argument for this function now, and then that way, you can just pass it in from wherever. Yep, and get rid of that. Yeah, nice. I might be watching on delay, so forgive me. But yeah, now perfect. Now we can say anything can just call the battle thing and say, hey, update the phase timer. So probably going to happen within the battle manager itself. But if it needed to
this
happen from
little
the children,
bastard. It
okay,
says
what's up?
too few arguments for update based timer call expected. At least
Oh.
one received 0.
That's good. Yep, go ahead and click that. That'll show you because wherever you were calling it before, you weren't expecting to have to give it that argument at the time. And
Oh, yeah,
now we
that's right.
want that, which is
We were
exactly
going
what
to
we want.
update that
Here,
anyway because the.
Yep.
Why does this always pop up? The following
Happens to
files
me
are newer on
too.
disk. Yeah, every time you tab out, it does that. If you tab back in, it's really annoying.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm trying to go live in Discord so you're not on a delay. And it was,
okay.
there we go. So yeah, with this one, we want to wait it, but like you said, I mean, 1 frame might not be enough. It was enough at the time whenever I put the battle manager in there, but if somebody else has a lower end PC or something and it doesn't load quite as fast as it normally would,
Yep.
on their hardware, I feel like that could become a point of contention with the being unable to receive the data.
Yeah, and what's nice here too with the thing where you do like the await, when you call the function, then what'll happen is like first of all, if you never need it, then you never wait for it here in the ready. Like anything that we wait for early on or eagerly when we load this scene could end up blocking, or slowing it down a little for no reason, right? If it never needs it. But then when it does, not only can it just wait for it when it finally needs to, if it even needs to, because it might not, but
Right.
then it can actually happen in that asynchronous pattern too, where like, unless you're waiting and blocking it, it can actually kind of just run off to the side. It's not like truly threaded there, but it kind of runs off to the side. So here, sorry, you went live in Discord. Let me pull that up. Like
Oh,
said,
yes,
so
I did.
Weird delay.
Let's see.
Yeah, so here, the main thing is if you want to just use that hard value of 10 for now because you're just tinkering, that's fine. Just throw 10 as the argument there to start.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah, I
we're
was
ready
just doing that to see if it would still work with the timer. Because at some point we're going to have to... I cannot generate terrain right now. Or I guess because
same. I have the same problem, and it's weird because I do see the...
Well, I know why we can't generate it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Oh, well, it's... There it goes. Oh yeah, perfect. It's working again. So we can just change that argument if we want to. But yeah, if you look at the forest floor, this is the atlas. There's no texture assigned to the atlas, which means there's no texture coordinates assigned to be generated.
Oh, okay.
So there's just no...
Tux double check it and see if
Yeah,
she needs to like recommit what she has or whatever.
Yep, the textures got removed. That happened at the same time that my phase timer over here, like this got completely deleted out of the tree. So I was like, oh, that's weird. Good
Yeah,
thing
there's
that
some weird merge stuff going on, but
yeah, I think we have a couple of people that are working, like they have their own branches and then occasionally they merge the branches and sometimes there's like a conflict or something and it overwrites something that somebody else has already done. Because I know the other day was it yesterday? I got 2 merge conflict errors, so
yeah, we'll get some of those sometimes.
I took my FaceTimer script and everything because I tend to save everything like this into like notepads and shit in case I lose it in the engine itself. So I copy my codes and I put them elsewhere, and that way if ever one of them gets deleted, I can just go plug it back in if I need to.
Yeah.
And that was a good thing too, because my code got changed, and I was like, "Oh shit! Oh no!"
Paying off now.
But
yep, I can show you too. Like this, so where you have line 275, what we're doing there is saying, hey, like in the ready, I believe we're in ready here.
Yeah, this is the underscore ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, excuse me. So the if we wait there though, anything that we await during ready can be blocking. Like that should always be something that we do like with a little bit of hesitation. And I had the same problem like a week or two ago when we were trying to figure out how to do the visibility change thing reliably. It
Right.
was weird, but like we wanted that thing where if you're changing scenes and we didn't actually unload the scene, like for the home scene, for instance, we don't want to like unload it and reload it every time. It's kind of wasteful. We can just like, hide it or
Oh
take it
yeah,
out of the
put it in
screen.
a
We keep it
pool
in
or
memory,
whatever,
right?
and just hold on to it. Yeah.
Right. But there's stuff on that page you might say, hey, when this thing shows up, like when it quote unquote loads, we do want to like, let's say, fetch new data or something. And so
Right.
we kind of found that pattern where we go, okay, what we really want is on visibility change when it's visible, but we have to account for the fact that it's actually visible before it's ready the first time.
Yeah.
And so it's weird because you can then, suddenly things start breaking. So we discovered this. If you jump down to where you're actually making the update FaceTimer call, I think like near the bottom there.
Let me Control K that for a second, and that way it's just not messing with it. Apparently our linter, by the way, is absolutely screaming at us because this is over 1,000 lines, and it's like, stop doing it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go to the actual thing here, it's like max allowed file lines number 1,000 exceeded.
Oh, that's the lint. Yeah, maybe the linter's
Yeah.
a little I think it's a little slow. Like it does a good job, but it's a little like slow, probably not like super optimized. So I bet that when it gets to a certain line count, they know it's going to be so slow. They just put a cap on it and say you can't
Yeah.
have more lines than that in a single file.
Yeah. So it's now yelling at us because we have more than 1,000 lines of code in the battle manager
It
itself.
I think the obviously a huge chunk of that is that combat loop stuff, and I think that if that gets shifted over to like C++ anyways, as Huntress is
Hmm.
working on, we'll probably have that just drop once
And
that happens. So
one thing we can do as well is we can move some things to dictionaries, resources, or whatever, and
yeah,
call them in the battle manager from their own individual locations. Sometimes that is worth
yeah.
doing, and sometimes it's not. It just depends on how quickly and what order you need that information in.
Yeah, this one's a little tougher because a lot of this stuff is kind of like supposed to be sort of globally available for the combat loop. The entire combat like part could probably possibly be pulled out.
You could
But it
have
does just get weird
the
with stuff
battle
like you don't.
manager that manages, the overall battle, and then you could actually have a combat manager attached to that battle manager that handles all your combat like related data, damage, speed, and all that
Yeah,
goofy
yeah,
shit
and
maybe.
I got close to almost doing that a little while back, and then I realized, well, if we move all of this to C++ anyways, it'll naturally just get pulled
Yeah,
out into its
yeah.
own world. So,
And then we can just remove it
um,
from here as we convert it over. So it's not really a
yeah,
big.
definitely. And like most of this too, if you look at all this and you just if you're able to collapse it all, like you could see like it's just like a big list of a lot
Yeah.
of
I
smaller
actually
functions.
love that in Godot you can click these little arrows and actually collapse the functions.
You know what's crazy is in VS Code there's a shortcut where you can collapse everything, which I use very frequently in my normal projects, and I've been dying not having it. There's probably a shortcut to do it in Godot's editor. I just don't know how.
Wait, to
Like
do
a
what now?
collapse all operation, where like everything at the highest level will just all of it will collapse for you at once, and then you can just look at everything top down.
I think that's in the
Um,
editor settings. If you go to
let me
editor
see.
settings and tell it to collapse, I think. No. I know there's one about folding the the shit inside your inspector. Like I've got that to where now whenever I click on something I go to the inspector. Um is it collapse? No, it's called folding. So in the inspector, disable folding, and that way when you open up anything in the inspector, it will automatically have all the details unfolded for you, and you don't have to click through to see what's what.
Oh,
Steve
I see.
followed you.
Yeah, Frosty's in Discord with me right now.
Oh, hi. Did not know.
Oh well.
So, like, now all these are already unfolded for you. So, and I'm pretty sure there's a way
Oh,
to do
gotcha.
that with
Okay,
the
okay.
functions and stuff as well. I just don't remember how. Um,
Or something. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. Anyways, though, yeah, yeah, if you go down to like where you have that function call at the very bottom there, where you're actually like hitting the timer up, you're actually doing the like the one we just made where you emit the signal.
right.
I can show you in there what we can do to make sure that the thing is reliably available, the FaceTimer.
Interesting. Shortcuts. Fold all lines. You can assign that to fucking like Control F2 maybe? Or
Oh,
I'll
there
just
you go.
put it
Yeah.
on F2. There you go.
Was that
And then you
editor
should be
settings
able to
shortcuts? Nice.
boop, close them all down.
Shortcuts. Yeah, fold all. There you go. Yep, fold all.
Yep, and then unfold, I'll put that on F3, and that way I can expand them when I want to and close them when I was about to say, I know there's a way to do it because I was doing it in my other project. I just couldn't remember how to, like, which button or how to assign the shortcut or whatever. But yeah, that's a very nice shortcut though.
Yeah, that helps with like big files like this. Like, yeah, it might be big, but there's a lot of small functions. So yeah, you do this and suddenly you go, okay, here's kind of my top-down view of what I'm actually working with. You know. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's a
then
lot.
you can just kind of open up whatever it is that you need. And go back up to that ready process. So how would we go about collapsing or making this more reliable, I guess is
Yeah. So in the at the very end, the bottom where you're actually just doing the call when you care about doing the emit, like the update FaceTimer function.
right.
Yeah, in that function itself is actually where we can make the change. So if you hop to that, we can do it inside of there.
But on this one, the emit get tree or the one down low?
The one at the very, very bottom. So like the update FaceTimer function itself is the one that that's the one we can edit. So if you control click update FaceTimer, it should take you there, I think. Yeah, there we go. So in here, let me think about something here really quick here. Let me think about something for a sec. Because inside of Battle Manager, do you have a reference to the FaceTimer node itself?
I don't think I bothered, unless you're talking about the on ready phase timer that you put in there yesterday.
Yeah, this is where if you need to make sure the Battle Manager cares enough to wait for it to exist before it does that, this is where that could happen. Yeah, okay, so it's already there. Sorry, so that is there, so you can use that. So yeah, sorry, back down in that function then, before you call emit on the signal, just say, so you say if phase timer dot, or if not, I should say, sorry, if not phase timer dot, I believe it's is node ready. That's what we're looking for. Yep, that's the one. Yep. Then in that case, when you're in that if branch, then you would just do await FaceTimer dot ready. So its own ready signal is exposed, and you can just await it when you make this function call.
Expected signal or coroutine after await.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, you want to break that down onto a third line. Like you do want that FaceTimer update emit to be its own thing outside of the if statement afterwards. Yep, perfect. Yep, and then what you're awaiting in there is actually going to be FaceTimer dot ready. So the node's actual ready signal you can await from here in the middle of this function to make sure that it's fully ready before you call the signal for the first time.
Is that await dot phase timer or just await
Oh no,
and then
just the await keyword space, and then it'd be
yeah,
FaceTimer
okay.
like you're referencing the node, then dot ready, and you should be able to. Yeah, there you go. So
Beautiful.
now, yeah, when it's not ready, it'll wait before it calls a signal for the first time. And then after that, it'll be ready, so it'll just skip that if branch each time, and it'll just fire right away.
That is beautiful. I will just get rid of this entirely.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah, there you
don't
go.
need
So
to
now
await
anywhere
it
we need to, we
twice.
can call the update FaceTimer. Yeah.
Yep. And then it'll give it whatever argument is passed into it. Oh, I think I can
Yeah,
actually
perfect.
oh, that's the wrong button. I need. Okay, well, I do got to put a space between that. I guess that's fine. I don't like extra spaces, but it needs to be outside the if statement. And if I put it too close, it tries to count it with the if statement.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then I had, let's see, 1500. Bias timer. See this real quick. So, are you doing AoEs with the healer? Or
That's
are
actually a
they
good
going to
question. I
be
wanted to,
like some
I was
single
gonna ask
target
you about
stuff
that.
going on?
Yeah, if you don't mind taking a couple of minutes and going over kind of unit design on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't mind at all. Unit
Yeah, I
design
was
is one of
thinking,
my favorite aspects of
yeah, it
doing
is fun.
anything.
Like it's, and it makes things, it's an easy way to make things more interesting and dynamic. Just add new units that do new kinds of stuff. Um, so with healer, I know it's like a quintessential one. We probably don't want to stray too far from stream raiders because it's one of kind of those common core units people are used to seeing working a certain way. But what I do want to do, I'd like it if it did some kind of buff, or I should say more specifically, some kind of status, in part to make sure that part of the system works well too. And rather than having to make a whole separate unit like a flag bearer or whatever, like let's have the healer do some kind of status application. Now, a couple things came to mind, but one that came to mind is this kind of also helps solve the problem where, like, what happens if you just have like two warriors or like one on each team, and then one healer on each team, and they're gonna just beat each other indefinitely if the healer can heal enough
Right.
on both sides, right? And of course, you have timers and stuff just in case, like things can time out at
Yeah,
some
like
point or
a
whatnot.
fallback or whatever.
Yeah, but that's obviously the band-aid. That's just the catch-all. In a case like this, I think what makes sense too, and even strategically, would be something like, if you've recently been healed, then your following heals have diminishing returns. That's a mechanic that can come up a lot. So there is some amount of like
Yeah, I would think like,
not wanting to
every time
overheal
you
one.
heal, because there's this concept in some old TTRPGs, and some people still use it modernly, but it's called massive damage. And essentially what that is if you get hurt really bad and somebody heals you, that's fine. They're gonna raise your HP, but you can still experience like exhaustion or the psychological effects of having just had your arm chopped off. Like there's still a
And then
lot
grown
of
back from magic
yeah.
immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
things about that you just can't fix, you know what I mean? And so every
Yeah.
time that happens to you, it's gonna tear away a little bit at you, and it's not gonna heal you, like, spiritually. So, like, I could see diminishing returns on heals, like, being less and less effective as people are just being, torn apart and basically sewn back together by these healers. Like, you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
you just had your damn leg chopped off and this healer put it back on. That's gonna psychologically scar
Still messes
you.
with you a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe something like, because on one hand too, we do want like support roles, especially to feel pretty good. Like you can play them maybe a little bit more casually and mindlessly in a lot of cases. That's probably not a bad thing.
right, but
So
support are your
you pop the
most
healer down, it'll
important
be good. But
strategic, like,
yeah,
placements. So, And I
Yeah.
think with because the next thing that I kind of want to work on is the buddy system or whatever we're gonna call it, where you can assign
Yeah.
a unit to follow another unit, and then it'll
Right.
inherit their movement and all that, and just follow them around. I think we should probably have less AOE on the heals if they're, specifically trying to target a single person or whatever. They're supporting this guy. They're gonna put, more effort into that than they would be.
I do think that like the AoE on a heal is kind of nice. It makes them a little more it makes them a little more reasonably impactful. I think because
Right,
when you think about like what one DPS could do versus one healer only healing a single unit at a time, especially when you do it like projectile attack with time in between attack rate kind of stuff. Yeah,
right.
like the AoE was kind of nice, but because it was actually splash damage anyways, and then or splash heal,
Yeah,
based on what you're saying,
reverse splash
I
damage, but yeah.
yeah, like this, it was like splash damage, but usually splash damage implies your main target gets the brunt of it, and then you do partial
A
damage to everything
diminished
around it.
heal to everything else,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so heal following the same pattern, I think would be super reasonable. So your main target gets a bigger heal, and you heal the others around it a minor amount.
Yeah,
So you still get a splash effect, but and that way if you have a couple healers that because the hard part too is that unlike other games, you don't get to control all of its behavior the whole time. Much of the time, you will not
right.
be controlling
Once
its behavior.
once
So
you hit play on the battle, it's out of your hands at that point. Like, it's not
yeah,
like you get to go
exactly.
in
So
and
we
be
can't have
the
it be too
healer,
fine
so,
tuned. Yeah, we can't. So it
yeah,
can't be like too fine tuned. But I do think that like, especially if the logic is like, hey, it's going to heal. If it's got multiple friends in range,
right,
heal the lowest health one, so they could naturally cycle a little bit. And then when it's seeking out an ally, it can just find like the lowest one without health or something like that.
right.
But
I mean, if the healer targets the person with the lowest amount of health, because they're gonna get the biggest heal, and then it just kinda,
splashes the
splashes
rest.
off
That's
to the
pretty
rest of
efficient. Yeah.
everybody else. Yeah, that's a really efficient way to do it, because then they're gonna probably heal him above the threshold of someone else, and then that healer is gonna find the new lowest health target, and they'll be actually moving around the battlefield within their, what do you call it, like their field of detection or whatever. They're gonna be moving around looking for whoever has the least
Or
amount of
more,
health.
yeah, more efficient targets
So,
to heal. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that'll make it feel a little more impactful and alive, not just healing the same
yeah,
thing over and over again.
yeah, it'll make it feel
Um,
like the healers are actually going around the battlefield trying to keep their allies up and standing, and I think just the visual of that, like them walking around healing, different people, will probably be pretty interactive for the community.
that's true, especially as things get moved more because we have things like knockback and stuff where things actually get kind of
Yeah,
pushed around. Like, yeah, they'll need to adjust a little bit themselves. They might be one of the ones too where their behavior is to try to distance themselves from enemies, obviously. Um,
right.
so that could be interesting where we could bring that mechanic in. Like if it's being chased by an enemy directly, it might just keep trying to run away in between heals or something. Um,
Yep. I
anyways, but
definitely, like, I think there's probably an argument to be made later on. This doesn't have to be right now, but you could actually do like one of our gear pieces that allows like an archer to attack while moving, because I don't think ranged units and
yep.
stuff should be able to do that, by default, just moving and attacking at the same time. Melee, I do think should be able to move and attack at the same time, because it's really
Okay, we probably
hard
should
for them
adjust
to,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we probably should adjust that.
because
Um,
they have a really hard time already. If they have knockback applied to them, then they try to attack. It's like, well, shit, they just got knocked back 5 feet. They can't move and attack at the same time. So I think that's something we might have to
well,
address with
yeah,
melee at some
maybe.
point.
That is part of the balance too. So I guess it depends on how it shakes out. Part of the balance is because you can knock them out of range, now suddenly they miss one attack and got to walk back to you to attack again. Probably certain melee should have that as an attribute of that kind of melee.
Right. Like
Um,
if we ever bring in a berserker, like I think
yeah.
it's
And
it's
rogue
weird
probably
because
is one
in
that
my
should be able to move and
brain,
attack.
yeah, I think the rogue should be able to move and attack, and it's weird in my brain because when I think of berserker, I think of, big raging guy with two axes that hits really hard. But in the
Mhm.
reality of it, it would be big raging guy hits not quite as hard as a warrior, but can attack while moving.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
And might have
like,
some other benefits or things going
right,
with it. Yeah. Um,
yeah, I think things like that are things that will have to kind of consider moving forward as we're implementing units is what can they do, if anything, while they're moving, while they're being knocked back. Do we have, like our flag bearer? Flag bearers were kind of a meme in Stream Raiders because all they did was really, double your damage or whatever for your people. Like they give you a damage buff. But imagine a flag bearer whose strength not only rallies your own power, like makes you stronger, but all of a sudden you've got a flag bearer with a stand your ground buff to where the units that are buffed by that flag bearer cannot be knocked back. Like
Right.
they're just
Right.
like
Yeah.
immune. They're like, then you actually have a flag bearer who's helping hold the front line
Yep.
because he's like, steadfast flag bearer, whatever specialty you want to call it.
And you could have one too, like I would imagine by default, flag bearer is good at staying right behind the front line,
Right.
or near it, and it has more of an AOE spread of its effect rather than a projectile splash. So
Yeah.
it can walk with you, and while it's walking, it's still buffing you
Yeah.
instead, which first of all makes it reliable. But the flip side of that is imagine one where it actually walks in front and it actually taunts the enemy. It actually like provokes because it's a
Yeah.
big, giant flag waving in their face, and they're like, "Oh, it's easy, let me kill it." You might play some strategy that way. That's probably a good example of like where the equipment could come in, right? So you like put
Yeah.
armor, you put
Imagine
an
a flag
armor and like
bearer
a target on the
who
flag.
goes into like a tank specialization. So he's
Yeah, it's
buffing his
mostly like
allies behind him, but also taunting the enemies in front.
yeah, taunting the enemy with a little bit of extra health. Like it's not going to be anywhere near tank, right? But it would at least
Right.
take a few hits at the beginning clash or something, and you can play a little smarter with that. While at the same time, the flag bearer could be a really good surface for like we talked about how do you control and group units together, and we talked about like
Right.
tanks like kind of squatting up. But maybe a flag bearer could provide kind of similar functionality for like anything else. You could try to like see, all right, well we can all squat up against the flag bearer who's going to buff us and also keep us together as one chunk. Now
Yeah.
suddenly it becomes this sort of like halfway between a unit and a marker, which I kind of like actually. There's some real power there, I think,
Yeah.
in like the teamwork aspect. But yeah, all that's to say that someone like a healer doing like a splash, but like what you'd expect, like reduced healing on the outside because it's going to target
Right.
low health anyways. And then
Yeah.
maybe I'm just trying to think like, is there a more interesting way to solve the like infinite battle problem once you introduce healers besides just diminishing returns on the heals?
I think that's a really hard one to hit because it's like my argument the other day. Well, it wasn't really an argument, but the discussion of if you have two archers remaining in a battle, neither one of them have any health or have any missing health, and at that point the battle will always be a draw unless you implement some kind of like armor weapon, something that can change their attack speed or their range of attack, because they will always get within each other's range at the same time, and theoretically they should both shoot at exactly the same time. So like there's situations that are unavoidable that may not happen often, but they will happen at some point. And so you got to figure out in a like a PvE match, how do we make sure that that counts as a win for the captain, because nobody is ever going to want to run a 30-minute to hour-long battle and then get a draw and have to rerun the map. You know what I mean? Like that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, a
So
couple of things. I mean, one for sure, draws in PvE are just wins, and then
yeah,
more importantly, and here's why, right? We don't have to even make that explicit because if it's scaled to like, the percentage of the enemies you eliminated,
right,
with the all elimination bonus being extra big. So you do get reward for playing well and clearing all of them. But if you lose and it was just by a little bit, you still get tons of benefits. You don't suddenly feel like shit and you got to salvage chest and you got to go back to the beginning or all that kind of crazy stuff. That said, that would still handle itself. Like the fact that your ally died actually becomes inconsequential for that particular case. Like draw or not is just a label you put on it, but the truth is you killed all the enemies. The systems are in place so that when you kill all the enemies, that's when you get the big bonus. So you're good. So
right.
whether you died at the same time is actually completely okay. I don't think we need to even really like hard code that at all. The more I'm thinking about it. As long as the enemies are dead. But yeah, as far as like, you know, the healer situation, my only other thought is that it also helps make them a little bit more interesting is if they do maybe something else. Like if they've healed a target recently, then like within some window of cooldown, they can't just re-heal the exact same target, but they do something else instead that's useful. So whether that's, you know, cast some curse on the enemy or a separate buff they might put, like if it's a more like a priest style unit, you know, a cleric or something, where it's like a healer by default, but it can also do some buffs.
Right.
Just trying to think what else might help eliminate the infinity problem that is still interesting. Because like diminishing returns is a little bit of it feels kind of band-aidy.
Yeah, it
It
definitely
doesn't feel
has
good.
that, like, you know, I don't even know really what to call it, but it just
it's like you're
feels like,
punished for doing the main thing you're
yeah,
supposed to do. You
it's
know,
like
like
I'm
I'm a
literally
healer. Like why
getting
am
in
I
trouble.
healing less
Yeah.
and less? Yeah.
Like I'm getting in trouble for doing my actual job, and that feels bad for especially people. Because, like my wife, for instance, I do all the battle planning and everything, but she's a very big support person. Even when we play like Dungeons and Dragons, she plays a cleric. Like that's her role in game. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to support this group of people. I want to support that group of like units or whatever. That's what she does. She'll go in with healers, buffs, flag bearers, whatever she can put in there to kind of help turn the tide of battle in the captain's favor. That's what she does. And that's what she enjoys doing. And I don't think it's necessarily wise to punish people for doing,
Right.
you know,
It's exactly what I,
whatever
yeah,
they want.
exactly what I want to avoid. Like you're supposed to be a healer. You're supposed to heal. That's what you do.
Yeah.
So how do you? What do you let them do that avoids like your potential infinite loop by the nature of if you're doing it over and over again, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't quite.
So at a point like that, like it just to me it seems like you almost need to have a weapon system in the game where the damn warriors when they fight, for too long their sword breaks or whatever, like, and then that would probably alleviate a bunch of stuff, but then that also feels bad. So,
Right. It's like, yeah, whatever. These things are meant to be a little bit single dimensional on average, which is
yeah,
good for the sake of units. In large battle, they're kind of single dimensional. That's good. So you don't want them to naturally get worse at the one thing they're supposed to be doing. That's why I'm like apprehensive of this. So like, what else would it like? Maybe you think thematically. You got a healer type unit. It doesn't have to be named a healer. This is where we could call it like a cleric or, you know, priest or something like that. A water mage, and it uses water healing or something. Like water is like the healing version. Whatever you want to think about it as. What thematically could a healer do that would be value added, but would be an alternative to healing? So that when it is, let's say, targeting the same unit repeatedly, like at some point, maybe after the second time or maybe the third or fourth time, it'll switch to doing something else instead.
right. Now, would that work?
Does it switch to just like buffing?
I mean, you definitely could. Like, maybe you can only heal a unit. Like, who says we necessarily need healer flag bearer? We could have, like, oh, what do you call them? A bard, basically, who heals, but also applies, buffs and whatnot. So the healer could also just be a buffing unit. And, I may only have a couple of times I can heal somebody, but then I can apply maybe a defense or a damage buff to them if I'm not able to heal them again. You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
a healer can only heal, if one healer can heal each unit 3 times in total throughout the battle, like they can give them 3 good heals when they get down to low health. But then after that, all they can really do is support them, like strength wise or buffs, debuffs, whatever. Maybe they can cleanse debuffs off of units. So if you got a curse or something, your healer can have a little cleric that can remove curse or do whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
Only
lot you could do
alternative,
with that.
yeah, the only alternative I can think of too is that they just switch to doing some damage, and it might not be a lot. Obviously, it'd be very
Right.
minimal, but they could like heal. And I'm thinking something like if you're healing the same target for, let's say, the third time in a row, not like 3 times per battle necessarily, but just the nature of how it's going to want to move around and heal the lowest health target over and over.
Right.
If you as the healer are now healing the same target for like the third time or something, then you switch to like attacking the enemy until a better target is available or something like that.
Right. Makes sense to me. So I've updated the timer here to use like get ticks in milliseconds.
Yeah.
And then on update timer, it's going to give it the new time, remaining time, and then from that function set remaining time, it will give it the new value or whatever that we passed in. And then it should track the start time as an integer of 0. So as soon as the timer starts, it should run in real time now instead of based on frames. That's essentially
Okay. Good.
because it's going to be the error battle manager.connect phase timer update callable, and then if it's an error, it'll do its prints or whatever, and if it doesn't have an error, it will update the displayed time, but it'll track the time between updates for tracking it in real time or whatever. And then if it is stopped, start time is going to get time.get ticks per millisecond or whatever, however many ticks there was from that time to this time, and then it'll reset the timer or update the timer based on how many milliseconds have passed since the last time it updated the timer.
Okay. That seems reasonable.
Theoretically, it should work in real time once we pass that signal in.
Out, right?
Yeah. Well, the problem is I don't quite have the ability to stress test that because I don't have the server actually sending any time to the thing to where I can run like a really heavy battler. Okay, well that's weird. I broke it somewhere because it says it's updating the timer down there, but it's not actually updating. Oop. Usually let me see what I got going on down there because I busted something. Yeah, reload that from disk. Timer ready. Battle manager found. Phase timer update connected successfully. Updated display to 15. And that says it's working. Why is it not updating the timer? On timeout. Start time is greater than 0. Elapsed time, get ticks, start time. Time max. Date display. That should be updating the timer. 0. That looks right. What do I have? I don't think I have a value set in this battle manager, do I?
I think so.
I do not. So what if, for the purposes of testing this, Oh, it's already got new time, so I could just type that into the phase timer update, couldn't it? Can I? Assignments not allowed inside an expression. Damn. Fine.
You could do it there if you just want some, yeah, like some base value. You could do it right where you are now. Equals.
There you go. I just want to see if it'll change the number being displayed at the top instead of, because it's not updating the actual value right now. I'll stop doing that. Nope. What did I break? Fucking what? Oh my god. How does that break things? Oh, invalid assignment of property text. Okay.
The timer label doesn't exist yet when you update the display, interestingly enough. Even though it's a child, apparently it doesn't exist. So if you update display is getting called, and yet the timer label is still null. So you might need to do the same, if not timer label is node ready, await for it. You might need to do this there, or find some other way to address that.
So just drop like an if statement here. If, oh shit, I ate the beginning of that. Let's not do that. If node ready, if is node ready. Okay, why does it keep eating my timer label when I do that? And then, what is it? Phase timer text? Phase timer text. That or am I dumb? I might be dumb.
What's going on?
I'm trying to figure out how to check to see if this text for the timer is ready before I call the timer label underscore text or timer underscore label. Timer updated display to timer label. Do I need to rename that to phase timer? Timer label is phase timer as label. And that's in the ready function, so it should be calling that as soon as this whole node is ready. So I'm not actually sure why it's not calling timer label here. Could I call ready? Oh shit. Let me on ready that up here. Maybe. Try it that way. So text with the value of string, base object and nil. Oh, what did you send me on Discord, baby? Yeah, I figured it was. Yeah. Huh? No. Yeah, we have both agreed that diminishing returns suck.
Yeah.
Do what, Brusty?
No, I'm not saying I agree. I'm thinking we can flip it on its head to make it feel good again, where instead of it being like, oh, after 3 or 4 times in a row on the same unit, you like are now diminished in some way. Instead, think of it like, oh, you're charged up now, and so then you do something different that isn't a direct heal anymore. So we still solve the problem, but it feels cool rather than problematic.
Right.
Like after that, when you've healed 3, 4, or 5 times the same main target in a row, then now what you do is you start buffing their damage, or your heals stop affecting that unit, but now they splash to an enemy as well, or something like that, So that way you solve the infinite heal problem, but in a way that feels more like you're altering to do something cool and different, instead of just being like depleted.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't want support players to feel, like they're being punished for doing what they do.
No, exactly. Yeah, like it doesn't feel right. Just because you don't want the DPS to feel the same way, like you said, where like your warriors, you have diminishing damage on each other over time, or something silly like that.
And I think, at least, it is my opinion that we probably won't run into that a whole lot with the way our equipment system's gonna work. Like, you're mostly gonna run battles where people are not, toe to toe even with each other. So,
right.
There's gonna be either more defense on one or more attack on the other, and you're gonna have some good variables that will help alleviate some of that stalemate standoff type thing. Now, in the early game, that won't be the case because they are, fairly new and we don't have the equipment system in there yet. But I think that won't probably be a huge problem.
Yeah.
Later on. When we first start, it very well could be. But I think that maybe as long as warriors do more damage than a healer heals on average for a single target, and that way, the healer has to heal them, maybe 2 or 3 times before they actually get them back up to full health or whatever.
Yeah. Like
You could always
that's the thing,
do
though,
it that way too.
When the units are, we have this many and we know the number, it's one thing. But as things get more and more intricate, like if we do it right, we should have a system that has so many possible outcomes that it's hard for us to handcraft each of those interactions to make sure we don't have those problems.
Right. That's why you got to put like blanket checks and balances in the way instead of like individual like things or whatever.
That's why it's like we do know that if you are one healer and you are healing the same unit repeatedly, there's a chance that you are just like delaying in the inevitable, or like there's a chance that you're deadlocking now. For sure. If you're healing the exact same unit over and over again, there's a chance that you're deadlocking, and it's also boring to watch too, no less, right?
Yeah.
Like it's even if you weren't deadlocking and you'll eventually kill one or the other, it's boring to sit there and just watch heal attack for a net 1 damage on 100 health. That's just boring. Like that sucks. So you kind of want to speed up the process a little bit too and make it a little bit more exciting. So I think it's got to be something like especially if they splash, this is kind of nice because you could stop healing the main target, but you're still splashing heals anyways. And then on top of that, if it turns kind of like Hex Healer style, where if you healing overload on a single target that you're focused on, then like it would start to it would stop healing them, but it would start doing damage to the enemy as splash damage.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's some very clericy stuff too, because like in D&D, you have abilities like Spirit Guardians or whatever, where anybody within a certain AoE distance of your healer takes damage. But like, and that would probably help, but you just want it to feel good in the fight, because the healer's going to be healing, but there's got to be some way to end the stalemate. So, like, trying to think of
Yeah.
a way that would do that won't make the healer
I
or
mean,
the warrior feel bad, or the two whatever units are clashing. Like,
it's probably if it just switches to an attack buff instead of a heal after a repeat, that's reasonable.
yeah,
I mean,
I think that would be,
that
yeah,
speeds up the process. Yeah, like it kind of delays the need for or the use of a flag bearer, at least. Like if you want something similar, the healers play part of that role.
right.
But then you get a choice between like, are you focusing on locking down to one person so you can make sure they get healed and damage, or do you want it to run around and actually heal a wide variety of people instead?
I just
And
want
you
it
have
to
a
be known that I had the coolest fucking idea anybody has ever had for a unit in the game to replace
Oh
the
yeah,
flag bearer. And it's a
what's that?
bard who, while they're playing music, the emotes of their streamer float out above their head occasionally. And like they still give, maybe a speed or attack buff or something to
Yeah,
the
that's fucking perfect, man.
people, but he's like playing his little guitar, and instead of music notes flying out, you got tiny little versions of the emotes of that
Or like that's an
streamer.
upgrade. That's an upgrade you
Yeah.
could get. Like that's a good VFX upgrade where it is music notes by default, but part of
Yeah.
one of the cosmetic effects that you could get through bits or whatever.
Yep.
Could be
So you can have a flag bearer whose default is music notes floating out above it, or well, a bard. To hell with a flag bearer. And then the buff that they get, or the cosmetic or whatever, he can play out your emotes or whatever above his head. I think that would
Yeah.
be cool as shit. And you're not stuck to just one design, you know what I mean? You could have like 3 or 4 different emotes that pop out above him instead of just,
Oh
one
yeah.
Garfield eating string cheese emote.
I could just cycle through them and spit them all
Yeah,
out.
yeah. And just display them off one at a time or whatever. I think that would be cool as shit.
I mean, that would be
Yeah.
inspiring.
Yeah. I mean, I think a bard is a much better idea than a flag bearer.
I like the idea of a flag bearer for like we were talking about, where it's sort of a unit that in a way acts a little bit like a marker, where you use it to like regroup or like guide units in a way, or like we
Right.
said, maybe to even draw enemy fire as like a provoke or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, that makes way more sense.
Yep. And you could have like with the bard, it could have the buffs and the other things. You could still have a flag bearer that had, emotes on the flag or whatever if you wanted to, but also like flag bearers could have multiple buffs to where, they could have the steadfast buff where they make it to where allies can't be knocked back. They could have an aggro buff where they pull aggro from things that normally would not target them. Or they could have like a white flag buff to where they lower the attack rate and stuff of the enemies because they're trying to wave the white flag or whatever.
Committing war crimes.
Yeah, committing war crimes, and they lower the strength of the whatever's in range that's attacking their army or whatever. Like, there's so many cool buffs that you could put on a
My
flag
mind.
bearer.
This is getting ahead of it, but I'm almost thinking too. Flag bearer makes for a really interesting design choice for something you give the leaders only.
Yeah.
Where we don't have to call them flag bearers, but basically they become markers,
Well, a
but also as
standard bearer,
actual
yeah, or
units.
whatever.
Yeah, like you could drop it down in an area, and then then your allies can like only play or are heavily buffed for playing a certain kind of unit next to it, right? And then
Yeah.
that way it acts as like your marker on the battlefield, without having to have markers. You get to just use units to create your markers, and that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. You creates a little zone that's designed for.
Could you imagine if instead of we did the thing with stream murders where it procedurally or randomly generates placement zones or however they do that, if you put down flag bearers and then the flag bearer has a radius around it where people can place units. And so you can put that like on the field as a captain. You can put a couple of standard bearers around the field, and then that opens
Yeah.
up placement zones for people to rally around the flags. That'd be pretty cool.
I like that for quite a few reasons. Like obviously they could be generic or neutral, right? Like vibe flags, so
Yeah.
to speak, the equivalent of it, right? I like it because it uses the same unit system that everyone's going to know. It gives the leaders something special they get to do right away as far as units go. They get to put down these special units that guide and rally all the troops. And then
Yeah.
it opens that up where they get to choose the placement zone off of limited information at the beginning, which is just where the initial enemies spawned, but
Yeah.
not necessarily like, yeah, there's probably something really strong there, I think. And then some of them, of course, could be, you could put on the flag the icon of, hey, I want this unit here. And we could choose from a design point of view whether we completely limit placement to only them or at least only heavily buff those so people are incentivized to play that one.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then, yeah, you as the captain get to decide what part of the battlefield is placeable.
I
I
think
think that's
that
pretty
would
freaking
fucking
cool.
amazing. Yeah.
I think that's pretty freaking cool. And I think that, so my only then mental check there is how does the casual leader feel about that? Like they don't want to think too hard about it. Maybe we
I
might have
mean,
to
they can
give like
just drop a
one
flag bearer
big
wherever.
giant flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we might have to have one, like, you know, a one big giant flag, or like be able to adjust the size of it or something where you might
Right.
want fine-tuned control versus like one big area to plop down.
Yep.
But
So it
yeah,
doesn't even have
I
to
think
be
by
a
use
unit that moves. The captain could just have big ass flags, like a flag post with a flag on it that he stabs into the ground,
yeah, what I
and
like about
there's your
that is
placement
then,
zone.
and you can have the kind of flag where it's like you have the main pole, then you have two flags on either side of it,
Yeah.
and one is to represent the game mechanics, and one is for like their emote or profile picture, so it's still
Yeah.
branded and personal. You know, like they can drop that down. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a full on unit, but I would treat it like a unit. I'd treat it like a unit that doesn't move. You know, like the idea
Yeah,
being
like
it
being
sits in
able
your
to be
pool of
attacked
units
or
like any
whatever.
other.
And then if
Yeah,
somebody, if they send in a rogue or something to target the flag, they can get in there and break that flag down and remove the buff that it's given to the army or whatever. So I think that would
yeah.
be really cool.
Yeah, I think flags are great for representing markers, and I think that treating the marker placement as actually just one more unit mechanic is great. It's one less thing to know or manage or think about. When you know how to drop a unit on the battlefield, well, you know how to place a marker. You know how to place a placement zone. You know,
Yeah.
um, there may just be the only thing I can think of beyond that would be if the leader like just doesn't get around to placing one.
You can do an if statement for that though, and just be like, check to see if there is a flag on the field. And if there's not, generate placement zones like
I guess
procedurally
that's
or
the
whatever.
question. Yeah. It's not so much about the mechanics of how to do it as much as it is like what would we want design wise. Like you don't necessarily want to have to make the leader do something. So like if they don't do it, do you just auto place a flag for them after a certain amount of time or something like that?
I would say
Um
just like in Stream Raiders, how when you start the game, you have 1 minute or whatever it is to place a unit. But then if you do place that unit, it automatically unlocks it for people to start placing. So you have like that planning phase. I think at the end of the
mhm.
planning phase, if there isn't a flag or anything, like if they don't mark the field for people to place, we can just open up free placement to where they can place wherever they want.
Yeah, I like reusing the same system too, so you're not thinking about two different things, like a zone or zones and time phases, rather than just the same thing. Like the flag is there or it's not. So probably same thing in spirit, but rather just after that cutoff time, if there's nothing, place a
Then you
flag for
generate
them
them, yeah.
in some position. Yeah, we generate
Yeah.
our own flag, automatically. That's probably reasonable enough. I think that's worth some extra thought in getting that out early. That's going to be a core mechanic. I think we kind of need that for actually like as early as alpha.
Yeah, I'm
We're
gonna
still in a position where we're
definitely.
trying to figure out the placement zones anyways. We haven't actually like solved that problem yet. So if we just do this early, we can get ahead of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. We should probably. Hmm, I mean, I've got a sprite, so I could probably make some generic banners and stuff for some pixel art banners. That wouldn't be too hard. Um, I don't want to
I
ask
don't see anything
Jay to
wrong
do
with
that
making it.
because Jay is
Oh,
he's done a
yeah,
lot on artwork this week. So
yeah. Well,
um,
this is a good case to just use a flag bearer unit. I mean, it's a case where it's now appropriate. Now it feels like your flag bearers are doing what they should. They're helping guide and dictate the structure of the strategy in the battle, but you don't expect them to be major individual placers. You know, for the captain to place one, or the leader to place one, might cost that leader like 1 mana, if anything,
Right.
right? You might allow a a
Yeah,
limited amount of that, but
I would probably limit the captain to being able to place like 2 or 3 flags to
yeah,
start with.
exactly. Yep.
But
Yep.
then, like, let's say you got Michelle running a battle. You put down your couple of flags, and then, holy shit, your battlefield explodes and it's full now. You can expand the battlefield, but also give the captain extra flags that they can be like, oh shit, we're going to need, people over
They
here,
could.
people over
That's true,
there.
but that's only if they're watching, and then in a lot of cases they wouldn't be. This would be happening behind the scenes. So we probably need some kind of mechanism there where we just heavily incentivize people to want to place under the flag rather than make that a requirement. The more I'm thinking
Right.
about it,
Well, yeah,
because of the nature
that's
of
kind of
an
what I was saying with the free placement. Like, if they don't place a flag, just open up the entire field to where people can, play. If they want to be, silly, you can, I guess, mark it to where they cannot place in the enemy spawn. But then, other than that, they
right,
can,
but otherwise
place
it's wide
wherever.
open. Yeah,
Yeah,
that might be reasonable enough. Pick just enemy placement zones that are you can't place inside them. In most cases, maybe there's modes where it is shared, but
yeah,
in most cases, you just pick an enemy zone. That's where we know to spawn inside of, and it could be multiple. But then that way, everything else, it's not 2 zones we have to create. However, the captain places the flags; those can act as restrictive barriers, and or at least we heavily incentivize with like really nice buffs. Like it would be dumb not to
yeah.
place by the flag unless you have a really good reason.
Yeah, because like maybe if the flag is stationary and it can't move, then if you start the battle inside the flag, you get a 30 or 60-second buff from that flag that massively
Right when the battle
increases your
starts.
attack or
Yeah,
defense or whatever. Um, and so it incentivizes them to rally at those points, but it's not broken to the point where like you got a flag bearer following somebody around, constantly giving all of them, plus 100% damage or whatever. And it's just
yeah.
kind
If you
of,
did, you
like,
leave
meh.
that stuff up. You want that to happen way more at the like individual player level, supporting each other and choosing to buff each other and like whereas the
Yeah,
captain can then just be, hey, I'm kind of top down helping control this by putting these down. I'll drop some units as well. Maybe again, they've got other spells like gigantification. So they do get to drop one big bad boy unit, as well, something like
right.
that.
And if that
Um,
big bad boy unit is a flag, like if they gigantify that, then, you get a
yeah.
bigger buff and then better incentives or whatever. But give them
Yeah.
a
Okay.
reason, because epic flag bearers were kind of shit in stream raiders, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't, there,
Yeah.
there was no value to making the flag bearer epic.
Yeah. Yeah. The flag bearers mostly became like a way to get low, you use them because without
To
them, you're
lower your
giving up
power.
buffs.
Yeah,
But yeah, because they were like low cost. So in the same regard, they could be lower mana cost to play, a unit like
right,
that. But um, yeah, I do think that if we start and consider that, that would give us something distinct to give the captains or the leaders that is leader only from day one.
right.
Like gigantification feels cool because you're a big boy unit, but it's still the same unit, and we all know that, versus
Yeah,
like you actually have
absolutely.
something different you can do, which is place these nice big flags down to give buffs.
Well, see,
And
now that's
yeah,
what I thought was really cool, is if, like, captains during the monetization process, say that we ever did actually have affiliates and partners. Like, we could have it to where captains could get like alternate units that it's a warrior, but it's their specific warrior with their skin,
yeah,
and the stats are slightly different than the standard warrior. So maybe this one has
yeah,
really high defense instead of really high attack or whatever. Like, they could you could incentivize captains for your programs by giving them the ability to have like alternate versions of those units.
yeah, yeah.
The only
Okay, I
problem
like
I would
that.
see with that is how, like, it's going to vary things tremendously. Like, if I were to take my avatar, turn it into a warrior unit or something, and put it in the game, and then it's got its own type of stats, then you put
Yeah,
in
it
a
gets
warrior and it's got different stats.
yeah, that get a
Like,
little crazy to keep up with for sure.
yeah, it would, like, because you'd want to store all of that in like a resource dictionary or something, maybe an embedded dictionary.
Yeah,
But you'd want to do it on the server instead of the client, because if you did that on the client, it would add up to a tremendously
sure, sure.
stupid amount of data at some point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, one sec,
But,
hold that thought. I'll be right back.
oh yeah, no, you're good. I'm gonna save my old version of this because I'm about to break this sumbitch. With my other one. Hmm. I wish there was a way in fucking Notepad to make it stop showing these little red lines under everything whenever I'm trying to. Is there a plus version of Notepad, I think? Oh yeah, plus plus. Somebody mentioned this the other day. What is all that? Oh, that's why I put the battle manager where I opened it in C# or whatever. Oh, is there a dark mode for this thing? What are you doing?
I sent you a video. I finally found the alternate
Oh yeah,
footage.
I saw that. I'll look for that in a
But
minute.
it's blurry and hard to read. See,
I'm not surprised.
I think someone had zoomed it in and slowed it down for us, and that's when I found it.
Oh, I can't see that. Oh, I see it. Dark mode. Think Buck. That is so much better on my eyeballs. Speaking of eyeballs, I should probably put my new glasses on because I'm not messing my eyes up. What we got going on over here? Yeah. See how bad I fucked this up this time. The timer is running. So that's a good start. Now the question is, why isn't it picking up the signal that I'm giving it from Battle Manager? All I can really think is got phase timer update. Can we do like an at? Hmm. You know, punch it. $11:34. That is much higher than the float that I'm telling it to give it. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's maintaining the time even when I'm not in the battle, which is a good thing, by the way. It seems to be, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get my timer in real life. I'm gonna wait till this thing gets to a... Oh my god. The stopwatch on my phone's been running for 2,777 hours. What the fuck? Alright, at 30 I'll hit start and then we'll back out. There we go. Now my phone should be keeping track of the time on that battle. Which would be really interesting.
Your phone stopwatch was just...
Yeah, apparently the stopwatch has been running for the last 2,777 hours, yeah. That probably since I got the damn phone. I hit random buttons all the time, so we've dropped 30 seconds. If I load back into the game now, it should be at 10 minutes and 40 something seconds.
That many hours?
Yeah.
What, 24?
Let's see.
115 days.
10.5 minutes. But now it's at, or 9.5 minutes. Yeah, that's right. Holy shit. Look at that. The timer keeps ticking even after the battle is, if you leave the battle. Now if I hit end, that's kind of an issue. Maybe. Debugging process stopped. Cool beans. Now if I hit play and start a completely new battle, will it start the battle timer over? It does. Oh my god, I'm beautiful. I'm amazing. Now I just gotta get it to eat the signal. What up, lol? Lols and more? Oh yeah, that's a... Lols and more? That's a cool name. We're always here for the lols. I gotta use the bathroom real quick though, so I'll be right back.
Hey, sorry about that. I had a pest control person come to the door, so I just had to go take care of it. That's all. Hello?
Stock market shit's doing weird shit. Yeah. I saw the hashtag stock market crash. I'm like, again?
So, Frosty, you might be
Oh, hello.
excited about this. You might not.
Okay.
But hear me out. When I hit play and I've started a battle, it's going to, even though I've been outside the battle, it's going to track the amount of time that has elapsed since this battle was started, and then update the timer when I go back in to reflect that. And then, so right now it's at 10 minutes because I started it 4 minutes ago. So even if I close the game right now, I can just close it, not even be in the game. When I go back to the game, it's going to have that same timer and pick up where it left off.
Perfect.
So
Exactly what we're going for in that.
the only problem with that is I broke the fucking signal leading from the battle manager. So it's not setting my timer based on the battle manager, but it is setting it based on real time. So I don't know that we need a signal from the battle manager, because see, now it's 10:16, and if I end the battle and start a new one, it'll completely start back over from the 15 minutes that I initially set it at. Well, once it loads in. Oh, wait, it didn't that time. That's interesting.
Oh,
Maybe it's because I didn't close it after I stopped the battle. Oh, my poor brain. But yeah, I broke something because it still has the connect phase timer update. But for some reason, it's updating back to its base time instead of from the battle manager.
Yeah.
Remaining time is new time. Updates the display to timer label text. Oh, it's because it restarts the timer. I can probably get rid of that entirely, maybe. Forgot I did that, but I want to be able to restart the timer back to 15 minutes is the problem. Because that stops the timer, resets the remaining time. I could probably do that as the connection to the battle manager, maybe. Like, get a signal from the battle manager and then update the display and then start the timer back over. From whatever it gets off of battle manager. That might work.
By the way, when you said something earlier that got me thinking about some interesting potential, like, you know how for like the pixel art, obviously when you have such a small space of pixels, it's hard to get as much detail, it's hard to do as much with it.
Right. Pixel density and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the epic units were kind of funny because most of them were like regularly sized units that were then just
They're
scaled
just
up.
bloated, yeah.
But like if you went the route of those actually, like if the captain unit was actually a larger version of it, particularly for like custom ones. What makes that kind of nice though is that that would mean that your units could have a bigger surface for things like emotes or custom images, profile images, that kind of
Right.
thing. So there's something there. I guess, you know, you don't necessarily need the bigger pixel density. You just, if it's a blank enough space, then when it's scaled up, you'll still have a bigger blank space to draw on. But anyways, there's something there as far as like the epic ones being able to be even more customizable if we have that kind of mechanic, where a streamer might have a version of one that is like, you know, extra detailed or whatever. I don't know.
I could see that being a thing. I think having actual captain variants of units would be incredibly interesting. Because, I mean, they basically had that in Stream Raiders. You know, a captain was not a one-to-one with an epic unit. Like, they were slightly
Right.
different with some of their stats and things. I think the captain unit was actually just slightly worse than an epic unit up until a certain point, and then they kind of balanced out or whatever. But I think having actual, like, you know, leader versions of each unit would be pretty cool for captains, because then they could rally, you know, rally behind my tank, but my tank is an actual, like, you know, heavy duty, like, charge into battle and bring my guys with me kind of tank, as opposed to just, oh, it's another tank but big. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And then that would feel good for, you know, captains and whatnot that were running the actual battles, because it'd be like, you know, follow me, let's go. So, and then you would only allow one, like, because you're going to have co-op situations, right, where two captains get in there. But if one captain drops his captain unit and then the other captain can drop theirs, you would have like one captain unit per captain that could be deployed. But then you could also do, you know, the gigantification spell or whatever on other units, and they just maybe might not be, you know, the captain's leader unit or whatever. It's going to be slightly different.
Yeah, and I think in that case too, like, yeah, it's one nice thing. It's a light incentive to want to play co-op, you know, and people to play some co-op. Oh, but then we can have two or more leader units that are a little bit more powerful. And of course, you know, difficulty will scale up anyways, but it is kind of nice to have multiples of that out there on the battlefield. They've each got like kind of like their own flag they've put up and stuff like that. The fact that we're like considering something like flags or a flag bearer type unit being a leader only unit, and being the thing that helps, how it basically kind of takes the place of a marker. Like, why couldn't we also have other units that are leader? Like, of course, you know, why not?
Absolutely.
Why not have stuff like that? Yeah.
Like, I don't see a reason we couldn't do that. Yeah. See. Time, new time. Directly set the new time. Immediately update the display.
Oh, here's a fun question.
Yeah, what up?
If the only unit left is a healer, should it be able to just do a regular attack or something?
I mean, yeah, you can give the healer a knife and let him shank people, or if, you know, like, we call it healer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be healer. It could be paladin or tank or cleric, or not tank, but paladin, cleric, whatever.
Cleric, priest, blue mage, water mage, any form of like, healing type magic. Yeah.
Because when you say healer, you don't think damage at all. You're just like, oh, well, you know, they just go around healing people. But as a support unit, you could have like a cleric, and then all of a sudden you have somebody who's healing, like lay on hands or whatever, some AoE heal, but then they also hit somebody in the face with a warhammer, because that's what clerics use, like the maces or whatever. Like, there's no reason that they have to be consigned to just healing.
It feels like a really good track for it's like a cleric by default, and then you get like an equipment that's like your, like, what turns you into more of a paladin, so to speak, where now you are like a little more physical. as well. That's a pretty common like fantasy track where you've got like the cleric that could either specialize in being like more of a priest or more of a combat
Yeah,
priest.
like
Like that's
a war
yeah.
priest versus normal priest or war cleric or whatever.
Yep. Yep. That's kind of a common track, so that's familiar enough to people.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, because like you're gonna have clerics on the battlefield. They're not gonna be completely fucking inept. You know what I mean? Like they
Right,
still
right.
have to
They
go
are
through
like
combat
they're
training
engaging
and
in
shit.
war. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're still engaging
Yeah.
in war. They have to go through some training. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
I
like they're
agree with
just
that.
gonna go out there and be like, I don't know what's going on, but have a band-aid. Like, no, these guys know what they're doing. They've trained for war.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. They've just specialized in healing because of its important place within war. They're not just
yeah,
like they're not just like nurses who got thrown into a war or
yeah.
something. Like, yeah,
That's what always killed me with Stream Raiders, because I'm like, you do realize these people would not just be completely useless, right? Like even a combat medic still goes through combat training. Like,
yeah, and that still feels shitty when you've got like a healer or like 5 healers left and that's it, and now they just stand there and die. At least the flag bearers got their knife out. The healers really felt painful because they wouldn't do
yeah,
anything.
yeah, the flag bearer would
So
at
we
least
definitely,
shank a bitch if they needed to. Like,
yeah,
but the
yeah.
healers, no, they'll
So
just stand around and do healer shit.
yep, which just makes me think, like if we give them a capacity and program to be able to attack, like in the case that they're the only ones left, that could also just be what they do. It could just be they heal until they hit that limit and then they go attack or something if they have to.
Right.
It can just be a ranged attack. It can just be like a direct projectile, just like their heal. It just hits the enemy for a little bit of damage. It's kind of interesting.
It's gonna tell me, yep, damn it. So I'll just have to wait on that for a minute. 14:36 though, so it did actually reset the timer that time when I ended the battle.
Nice.
So I gotta wait for it to let me in the lobby, because it's like, yeah, you created this lobby too soon ago, so you can't close it right now. Which makes sense. You don't want to just spam open and close lobbies, because that'd be a pain in the ass on the server or whatever. But then I gotta sit here for 2 minutes or whatever the timer is and be like, okay, I'm gonna wait until I can close that.
Yeah, it's just a matter. Yeah, this will be a lot of what we're gonna go through. Is just if we get the right patterns for it, it's actually a lot simpler in sometimes some ways. But like the server first kind of information, and then just kind of updating the client accordingly, and kind of finding that flow that makes sense. Like you're about to load a thing. Okay, well I need to know the data from the server to load the thing. So let me get that, and then now I know where to start. And then that's our kind of fresh perspective every time. So whether you're starting a scene or like taking an action or something. Be a lot of server communication going on here.
Yeah. Yep, now it's down to 13. If I end the battle, then close the game, because I guess that's a necessity at this point, and then start a new one, it should reset it to 15 minutes. So all I gotta do is figure out how to get that to take that 15 minutes and adjust it according to the battle manager. Because it runs in real time now, but it doesn't pick it up from the battle manager, which is fucking pain in my ass.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so it reset to 15 whenever I started a whole new battle.
So here's a thing that should still be in there from what I've done, where how like when you click the battle, obviously it gets here, it has to know which lobby to be loading, and
Right.
so when you press go to battle, it sets a global so that way it can set that, saying, hey, here's the battle I'm going to be a part. Then it takes you over to this battle scene, and then
Right.
loads in the data accordingly, right? Well, now there's also a global just like that, which is like seconds remaining until placement's closed or something like that.
Right, I was trying to
so-
figure out how to access that.
Yeah, that should just be, you can access that from like anywhere. Like it'd just be capital G global dot whatever. That's kind of the nature. You can call it from anything. So if you want to just do it inside the FaceTimer for now, maybe that's okay. But you might
Right.
want to like have the battle manager be the one that tells the timer, hey, go ahead and use this battle.
Well, see, that's what I was trying to do. Like for FaceTime, I was going to
Yeah.
go to battle manager and have it emit the seconds remaining until lobby closed to the FaceTimer from
Yeah.
battle manager.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I want to do.
So you just
getting
want to like call update phase timer somewhere else in the battle manager, right? Like probably on ready or similar.
yeah, I could do.
I think that's what you're going for.
I was gonna do that below the would be on ready, call, then it would be the phase timer update. Should be string name, but is signal. Oh, I can't call this. Oh, that's because I called the signal instead of the function, because I'm stupid. Phase timer update. Returns void. What? Why would it return void?
It doesn't return anything. That makes sense.
Oh, actually, I can just,
You can just call the function directly. I
yeah.
think. Yeah, you don't need call. Yep.
Oh, what button did I just hit? Just call it directly right there, and that should. Ba-ba-da-bum-bum. Yeah, I'll just comment that there real quick and see if that updates it as well, because that very possibly could. I forgot to call it in the ready function earlier. Set remaining time to 720. Nope, it's still running in real time. Son of a bitch. Like, that's a good thing, but it's a bad thing at the same time.
Well, but if there's actually 12 minutes left in this battle, that's what you want, right?
Yeah, but I also want to be able to override that with a signal from the battle manager. So when you start a battle, it'll track it in real time now. And like if I had 2,000 enemies, the timer itself should still run in real time instead of physics time or whatever.
Right.
But I want the server to be able to tell the timer how much time is left in that battle. Like, this is just a default timer that I've put in. So, like, if I hit end or whatever.
Yeah, so what you do right here with that, when you called this update, oh, I see. You called update, but with no value yet, right? Like, no new. Okay. Yeah, okay,
Right.
so right here.
Well,
almost, I think right here.
I called the update. I have the value in the phase itself, so.
Yeah, gotcha.
Or in the function, rather. I just put 100 seconds in there, as an arbitrary number for now.
Yeah. So what you'd want is when you're calling it up there in the ready function, right there, just tell it how much is, how many seconds are left in the battle, which thankfully you've actually got readily available because it's just sitting on a global at this point that you're expected to be able to rely on. So like here, if you just do like, global dot seconds remaining, I think it is, you can probably find it through the
global dot
capital G. Sorry, I think it'll be necessary
yeah.
here. Yeah, capital G global
dot.
Just type seconds. It might be,
seconds until no new placements.
Yep.
Then I'll save that and see if it will update. Do you know what the timer on the server is for seconds until no new placements?
It'll depend on it gives 15 minutes per battle right now. So
apparently it gives 0 when you update it to seconds remaining, which is weird because when it hits 0, it should be hiding this mana bar.
I think something else is going on there. You can print it too right before you call that update timer. Print the global seconds just to make sure that like those are actually there.
True. Da-da-ba-bum. Yep. What did I? Print global seconds until no new end of statement after expression. Did I do that wrong? Oh, maybe. Oh, stop that. I was about to say, I've done like 72 print statements today, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll start that, and then I will close it afterwards. Set remaining time to 791, 779. Oh, now it's still running in real time. What the hell? Now it's back up to 15. That doesn't make any sense. Let me scroll through this. FPS 60. I print way too many things. I should probably stop printing the display updated. I just did that to see if it was updating the display, and now it does it every fucking frame.
Yeah.
Are they live on Algos United right now?
Yeah.
Nice. Let me refresh that then to make sure I'm... There we go. Whoop. Perfect. That's probably what that ping in Discord was a minute ago. He pinged, or she pinged the developer Discord. Yeah. Well, we're not doing actual developer streams right now. We're doing...
I know. It's still in the general chat, it's just not pinged.
Primary display updated FPS. Here we go. Battle manager found. Signal phase timer update connected successfully. Display updated to 15 minutes. Signal received. New time is 791, 779. I don't know where it's getting that number from. Previous remaining time. Oh, wait, no, it's getting that number because it's tracking the number of seconds between then and when I reopen the lobby. So previous remaining time was 900. So it's still getting that default variable and then moving forward with that instead of updating it. I don't even think it's printing the global seconds until no new placements. Doesn't look like it printed that out at all.
Hmm.
Is there more than one? Let me... No, it's just that one. Because I thought that other one you said was seconds until... Here, let me look in Discord real quick. Move that over. Where the hell is this? I need like 9 more monitors. That's what I need in my life.
You gonna start stealing all mine?
All yours? You mean my monitor that I let you use?
And my monitor over here.
Oh, well, that one I would... That's not a...
Both mine. You gave them to me.
I will fight you. But no, I actually was talking to somebody who is an optometrist, and they said that the way that my eyes are, I should actually not be using curved monitors. Yeah, because apparently that causes severe eye strain on people with astigmatisms.
Interesting.
That is really interesting. Yeah. No. Yeah. Also, the fact that my main monitor is curved more than my peripheral monitors, like it changes, it's constantly messing with my eyes. And they're like, yep, just get some flat monitors because you have astigmatisms and that's not good for your eyes, apparently. I never knew that. Found out that having an astigmatism in each eye makes your glasses really damn expensive, though. An astigmatism correction is $60 per lens. Yeah,
Oh wow.
that's ridiculous. Not as bad as my eye drops, though. That shit's $6 a drop. $2,200 for a 3-month supply.
Well, yes and no, because given that we're not actually following the directions,
Well,
it's $6.
irrelevant.
It's $12 per individual bottle.
Yeah, well, that's still incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Like, $2,200 for some steroid eye drops is fucking wild. Got like the world's worst cramp in my right leg. Real quick though.
I got some other stuff to take care of. I want to get working on this healer too. I think I've just settled for now. We can change this obviously, but for now, I'm going to settle on. If you keep healing the same consecutive target after the 4th or 5th time that you successfully healed them, you can keep targeting them, and it'll still splash and heal the allies around them, and then it'll also splash like hex style on the enemies too for a little bit of damage. So you just get a mix of like, if you're balancing heals out, you'll be super healy. If you really want to dial in on one person, you kind of really help keep them alive, but at some point you just start helping them kill instead. The energy behind it, at least. So I'm gonna try running that, and yeah, I'll be around in the Discord. So yeah, I'll be around. Ping me if something comes up, and good luck. And
I
go work on
will.
the timer.
I will holler at y'all if I need anything, and hopefully I can get this damn thing working proper. So
Awesome. Sounds good, man. All right, I'll
Well,
see you
holler
around.
at you later, dude.
Sounds good. See ya.
Go ahead and kill that. Yep. I got it. I'm such a novice at coding compared to like Frosty and Tux and Huntress and everybody. I'm just like, why do I suck so bad? Hey, get out of my
I'm
mail.
looking for my mail.
$556 is what I can put that on my shelf, please.
Thank you.
On my shelf right here. Up there on the top, because it's an important thing. Can you put that one with it, please?
It feels like my VA card.
Probably is. Oh, that dude, fucking Airbnb, there's like 8 boxes there now. And it's raining, so I'm gonna go over there and probably sort that out in a moment.
It's a terrible picture, but that's interesting.
What?
I'm gonna have to search what that means.
What means?
There's Braille on here,
Oh, fancy.
but there's only one, maybe two letters on here because I'm not remotely literate in Braille. Use as means of identification when reporting to your VA appointments.
Come on. Hey, what up, Misfit? How you doing, buddy?
Not uses credit card or insurance card. Does not authorize or pay fees at non-VA. So
You're good? That's good to hear. I'm surviving. Fucking, life shit and whatnot. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you've been doing alright, though. Life is lifing. I feel that. I've got some degenerative spine issues and degenerative nerve disease and whatnot, so I got a lot of interesting stuff going on, some mental health issues, but I mean, I'm living, I'm surviving, I'm alive, so that's where we're at. We're just chilling. We got this game that we got to get done because we got to launch this we're going to be in closed alpha on the 21st, and then on the 31st, we're going closed beta or whatever, so got a lot of work I got to do here. Just getting everything sorted in a way that it makes sense and works properly, so. How you been though? You messaged me a while back on Facebook, but then by the time I was able to reply, it said you no longer had a Facebook or something, so I was like, oh, well, that sucks. I don't really use Facebook a whole lot because I have an ex who likes to pretend to be me on Facebook. And they like to fuck with people, so I don't tend to touch Facebook any more than I have to. Deleting all meta apps, you've been good, working a lot, and that's fair. I'm disabled, so I don't really, quote unquote work. But I have been working on this project a lot. This is something we started up because Stream Raiders is going away. This is working. I mean, I don't get paid for this, so if you're talking about streaming, I haven't had a payout in 2 months from Twitch. So I don't really worry too much about the payment aspect of Twitch. I'm just, yeah, I turned down my ads a little bit and then, didn't really do much. So I had to go back and put them back on there because they're kind of important. Passion working, it's a passion project for sure, yeah. Not just stream because I like to hang out with people, but I'm not the most high energy or exciting person to be around because I'm always pretty mellow. I'm not a very dramatic person in terms of like flair and pizzazz and all that, so I'm not exactly everybody's cup of tea when it comes to like just hanging out and chilling, I guess. But that's fine. I'm also kind of an asshole, so I can't really fault people for that. What are you chuckle pucking about?
Well, I typoed and I hit pints, and I said we should make a joke and make pints of commands for when you typo for points. So I tried it out. Says, go home, you're drunk, let me do this for you. And it does points for you. And then it snarks at you and says, there, was that so hard? You've made this mistake one time now. Like, Tux went all in on the berating.
That is fantastic.
34, about to be 35, but who updates their profiles anymore?
Along the ocean provides colder, nutrient-rich water for plants and decomposers. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Let's see, upwelling in the ocean. Oh, yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Nice done.
I was like, wait, am I older? No, I'll be 35 in July. I just am this thing called lazy as fuck, and I don't update my socials a whole lot. I'm pretty sure I'm older than you. No, my thing says connecting to chat, so. Mood? I know, right? Do you use Discord or anything? Like, you'd always message me on Discord, so. Yeah, I was pretty sure I was older than you and Haywood. I'm older than Brittany Haywood, which I'm sure you know who that is, by 3 days. My birthday is July 14th. Her birthday is the 17th. And I've got this really bad habit when I message her that I'll be like, back when I was your age, and then proceed to tell her what I was doing 3 days ago. It's the funniest. She hates it so fucking much, but it's so funny.
It's the meme now.
It is a meme, yes. So anytime I'm around her, I'm just like, back when I was your age. I just proceed to go on about whatever happened 3 days prior. I mean, technically, I could do the same with you and just be like, back when I was your age, and then proceed to go on about whatever I did like 4 months ago.
I was your age.
You calm your ass down. That's my thing. What a different time those were back then. Yeah, life was a lot different back then. And life is pretty different now. Like, I got all kinds of crazy shit going on. I'm basically falling apart.
But
So much
married.
more simple. I am married. That doesn't stop my body falling apart, though.
Nah.
Or my mind, which is apparently a clusterfuck of chaos incarnate. Are we getting old, bro? I was already old. I've always had that, like, old demeanor, which I guess makes sense because if you analyze my personality, like, I don't really have my own personality. Um, when I was your age, everyone drove 55 Chevys. Calm down, Dave. Go get some bourbon. I've just always had that, like, wise old man demeanor almost. Like, I don't really vibe too well with hyperactive people and stuff, so I've always just been pretty chill. I don't do well with loud, obnoxious. What are you celebrating over there?
I'm being hyper.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I've been kind of an old soul. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah. I just don't have the time or the energy to deal with things that just don't make sense to have to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at a point in my life where I just want to be content. And I want the people around me to live their lives in, whatever way makes them content. And just don't fuck with me. Like, it's not that hard. If you fuck with me, I'll curb stomp you. And then I'll go back to being, my content, happy little self. And that's just how I live my life. And I don't try to project any of my thoughts and opinions onto other people. And I kind of expect them not to do the same. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's asking for too much. I'm just here to chill and be content. And that's about the extent of it. Okay. Battle Manager has signal phase timer update, which it does. New time and float. I don't understand why the hell that's not working. I have to connect that. Oh yeah, by the way, if you wanna like reach me on Discord, you're more than welcome to. There we go. Speaking of Discord and bots and things, I should probably turn my damn bot on. That might be a good idea. I haven't used it in a while, so I've been using the Stream Elements bot and the Frosty bot. Haven't really messed with mine in a while. I have to keep generating new tokens every 30 days and it annoys me. There we go, it should work now. Let's see. If I do MSO Ken aka Frosty and then Misfit Unicorn. Okay, yeah. I gotta fix my emotes, but at least the bot works again and it can do the multi shout-out. Beautiful. Auto instant multi shout-out. Which one of my emotes should I use for that? Let's do Iron One Rose. And save that. Now if I do that. Beautiful. I'm a professional. There you go, guys. Look at that. Pro streamer right there. It only took me 22 years to figure out how to fix my multi shout out. But it's working. Go follow Algos United Live. We're working on getting the development channel to affiliate on Twitch at the moment. And there's a lot of cool shit you can do over there. I can do like pints and it will apparently insult me. Go home, you're drunk, here, let me do it for you. That's so funny.
Did you take pints?
Yeah, intentionally. Trivia for 50, Frank. Electric Metal 500 telephone uses tone dialing. Dial phone numbers. I'm gonna say that's false. Because I don't think tone dialing existed back then. It was, they used, basically when somebody would pick up the phone, it would cause a difference in the current, which would lower the voltage or whatever.
To interrupt you, there's
Turn on
something in
the
the
light.
question that I can't answer. It says, how will we be able to apply for stuff with this game? Have you guys put out application concepts yet, or can you reply to that?
Where is this at? Q&A or
No, in the channel.
wait, what?
In the channel.
Let's see, drop. God dang it, the chat is moving too fast.
Drop out.
God, I don't see him, but I'll answer the. Is it in the stream channel? Like in stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, hang on. Algos, yep, dedicated member of the community have taken it upon themselves to work.
But is the answer in there?
Yeah, so we don't currently have any kind of affiliate or partner program. Anybody who is monetized on Twitch will be allowed to monetize in the game via bits.
That is to what Brent was referring. Just how do I get to play the game when it comes out is what I thought would be next.
Oh, well, I thought, yeah, all they gotta do is be in the Discord. We're gonna have the set members from the Kickstarter that we, whoever hits that milestone for support, that we will immediately invite to the project or whatever. But then anybody after that, it's just going to be, we go through and add 10, 15 people at a time. Well, you're going to have to give me a second because I'm cleaning my. It should have been, yeah. Yeah, so to actually place on somebody's field, I do not believe we're restricting that. What we are restricting is the number of captains that can currently have open lobbies at one time. And that way we can find out what our servers will be able to handle as we go.
That's the important part. So that's the part that was still not clear to me. And then I think
Yeah.
we don't currently have an application out.
No, there's not an application at the moment. I think we should maybe get something like that so we know, who's interested in captaining versus who's interested in just being a player.
I think that would be something we all could do for the first session. Okay, let's start getting, an idea of who wants to be a part of what.
Yeah. But I don't know what the hell is on my glasses, but it's getting on my nerves. But yeah, no, essentially I don't think we're limiting the actual players placing. We're limiting the number of lobbies we can have open all at once. So I think that's going to be our biggest concern. Yeah, that will BRB. My phone. Pain and suffering. That hurt.
I can hear that you're yelling at me. I do not hear what you're yelling at me.
Crash that happened was one of those people that live right there, and they're currently dropping the car back off now. So the tow truck is in the middle of the road right there. They're dropping the truck off back at that house, that old black car that guy had. So I guess they took it to the shop, got it fixed, and they just brought it back.
So he got into a crash.
Like
Right
2 feet
there.
away from his house, yeah.
Well, I mean, statistically, but also statistically, you're also that close to home.
Yeah. But yeah, he literally, they're just now dropping the car back off. So that man did not even make it.
Well, the guy who just got out for is not the guy from the accident.
Well, that's
It
the
could
same
be
car,
someone-
though.
the guy who's- and that guy is-
Yeah. But the car is the same car. It was broke down over here the other day, so. But they're dropping it off currently, so I thought that was interesting. And, you know, we both know you're kind of nosy, so I was like, oh, maybe she'll be interested. She is the nosy neighbor, guys.
Stick my nose in unless it's necessary. Just a nosy from a distance.
She's like, I'm not calling my wife a tweaker, but
Excuse me?
she's got the tweaker behavior when it comes to, like, you know, peeking through the blinds and always wanting to know what's going on outside of your residence. I know, but tweakers are really bad about being paranoid, and anytime they hear a noise outside, they immediately stick their nose to the blinds.
When I hear a push and I go, that
Well, yeah,
sounded
but
like a
tweakers do it with
gunshot. Now I
any
know there was a
noise.
crash, fucking, 100 feet away.
Tweakers do it with any noise, though, is
Yeah,
what I'm
I
saying.
do.
So you've got that blind peeking behavior where anytime you think something interesting's going on, you're immediately like, ooh.
It allows us to
I'm-
be on the defensive and the offensive if required. Especially because we live in a very not my favorite area.
Yeah.
We're very much actually quite centered in a couple of gang areas. It's not crazy, but we do get gunshots.
I'm sure this glasses cloth is just dirty and it's not cleaning my glasses. That's gonna piss me off. I can't see a fucking thing. Doo-da, doo-da. What process are you at with the game? We are in the
I'm also nosy because I like to help. If that car had suddenly been like rolled over or caught on fire or something, it's nice if you have someone call 911 right away while you're trying not to die.
Oh, I can just sit here and let Huntress answer those questions.
Okay, so
She's in chat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because CG was asking a lot of interesting questions.
Yeah. It makes sense for people to be interested, though. Like, they want to know what's going on. I do highly encourage that they put those questions in the Discord, though, where it's easy to find and answer. Well, we do, but I mean, it's not an official dev stream, so it's. And dev stream be more info about applications for other captains, determining interest in numbers, captains. Oh, bloop.
I don't think it's the same car. The front's different.
Just natural parts of the development process. You gotta make sure they're warm and inviting creators and not giant assholes. Like, I would not be the type of captain you would want to invite in your initial closed beta, because that would leave a bad taste in people's mouth, because I'm kind of a prick.
Oh, I finally fed Biscuit. I just woke her up off the sofa and got it to her. Did you hear what I said about Biscuit?
You finally fed her? Yeah. She's been sleeping a lot. She's just chill.
Honestly, if we want, we can adjust to her and just kind of skip the midday meal at this point if she keeps acting like this.
Yeah, I mean, feed her in the morning and at night if she wants to continue just being weird about it, yeah. Ow. Pretty sure I just broke my damn finger. That hurt a lot. My poor nerves. Alright, let's see. What kind of dumb shit is going on here that it's not picking up? Thing. I'm just discussing things with everybody in Discord right now. Apparently, Corey is looking for a D&D group. Wouldn't mind joining one, so I might get a couple of the devs together to play some D and devs. Devs and D, whatever. No, that just sounds weird.
Yeah, no. Dungeons and devs.
Dungeons and devs. There we
Dev
go.
in dungeon.
I think that would be cool as fuck if we had like a Dungeons and Devs stream occasionally where we play a one shot set within the Algos universe. Just a couple of the devs get together and play as themselves within the universe. And it doesn't even have to be like canon lore because it's D&D. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can just kind of enjoy the lore or whatever and run it in different ways. Like just do occasional one shots where it's based around whatever event we're currently running.
Could be also a way for you to uh premiere an event or premiere something in the world. Can't think of the word, just premiere.
That would be fucking cool as shit though. Like when we go to roll out a new event, part of how we unveil that to the community could be during the
Yeah, unveil. That's the word I was
yeah,
looking for.
like during the one shots. Like there could be hidden Easter eggs and shit within those one shot adventures.
Or here's one. Like you guys go up against the big bad evil guy, but you stop there, and then that's where the event starts. Okay, now we have to go
Yeah, that'd be cool.
attack the
And
big bad and save the devs or something. You know.
yeah. So relies on streaming for income lost whenever. See, this is another issue I have right now. I've got so many members of the community who like reach out to me and message me and stuff about various things. I'm just like, damn it, I have to interact with people. I'm no longer behind the scenes. I am the scene.
I now have a VIP on my alt.
What the fuck?
Apparently,
Calm down, Tux.
I did not realize it until like just now.
Oh.
And it's probably been 10-15 minutes.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is the 15th installment of Grand Theft Auto series. What? Did they really have 15?
Is it not the 5th?
No. Sarah Handel's original name in the Railway series, Balkan, I think. Yep. You're welcome. You turd.
And I typoed it just because I was hitting thank you that fast because you'd being rude.
Who's Etron?
My husband.
Well. Oh, we got a Rose Gaming. Yeah, that's who was just talking to me in Discord.
Yep, she just followed.
Oh, beautiful. Fancy seeing you here. You were just messaging me on Discord. It's my hyperfixation.
Ben needs a VIP even if we don't give him a mod.
And my brother's trying to figure out how to add a Discord link to his stream. So I'm going to have him come to my stream real quick and I'll show him. Oh, he's alive, so I don't know if I'll be able to. It'll be much easier to show him how to do it than explain how to. Oh my god, Tux has mac and cheese. I'm going to go beat her up and take it.
It always told me pasta salad.
Gimme. I want mac and cheese now. See the bowl? It needs the cheese.
Did Tux share a picture in the dev Discord?
Yeah, no, in the normal Discord. In the miscellaneous awesomeness channel. It's mac and cheese with nacho cheese sauce. Yeah, it sounds freaking awesome. No, I don't care if they hear it. Yeah, pull up my freaking thing over here. And then I'll just have him let me know when he can hear me. You're here? Alright, so when you're adding a Discord panel, if you go to your own channel on Twitch in your browser and you scroll down, you're going to see a button right here that says Edit Panels. If you click on that, you can put an image like my rules into your into your panel. So it would say Discord or contact or whatever. My contact button has image links to and then my Discord invite. So I link the Discord to that image, and that way whenever I'm done editing the panels, if somebody were to click on this contact image, it will automatically redirect them to my Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, click the contact link above, and it just builds it into that, and then boom, it launches Discord. So if you have your invite link, you can just link it to a picture. Also, hello, Ben. I was telling my brother how to add a contact link to his Twitch page. No, you're all good. You just go to your normal, to your own stream on Twitch. So, yep, you create a panel, add an image, and then put the link on it. Get the link from where? So you're going to get your link from your Discord, but it's going to be interesting because you want a permanent link. So, yep. If you see my Discord here, I've got the Welcome Newbies channel. If I hit the plus button beside that that says create invite, it's going to generate a new invite. But this invite expires in 7 days. So you want to be able to click this tiny button right here that says edit invite link. And then you can set it to where it never expires. And then no limit to the max number of uses. And then you click generate a new link. And then this link right here is now a permanent link that will never expire that you can put in that panel underneath your stream. And it's as easy as that. You now have a permanent link to your Discord. Yep, you put that link onto your image, and then you save your changes. So like right here, I've got the add image. So you add whatever image you want, and then you just paste that link into the image links to box. And then that's it. That's all you got to do. Like I've got mine right here. So when you generate that link, there's a button to the right that says copy. So you can just click the word copy. That's what you're hitting. Are you in streamer mode right now in Discord? You do in fact have to turn off streamer mode, yeah. I can hear you, by the way. My stream can't hear you, but I can. It's on a slight delay. But yeah, if you go into your settings, scroll all the way down to streamer mode, you can just turn that off. Yeah, so if you don't like it, then instead of turning on streamer mode, so you put the link itself into the image links to, and then you can just in the description panel tell it, hey, if you'd like to join the Discord, click the image above. Yeah. But as far as streamer mode goes, if you go to user settings, you can click on notifications. You will need to add an image, but you can just download like a Discord icon or something and put there. But you go notifications and you can disable desktop notifications. And that way it won't pop up like messages. It's whenever somebody sends you a message while you're streaming. And then you don't have to worry about streaming mode. Your shit, do you have a bot in your channel? Yeah, you can do it as a command. It depends on what bot you have. Yeah, so you have Stream Elements. So go to streamelements.com. There we go. I've got ads on your channel right now, but that's or somebody's channel apparently. Oh, it's an ad off to the side. Yeah, that is a bot. Stream Elements is a bot. I think he's got ads at the moment, is why he can't hear me. But go here, then you go to your chat bot, chat commands, and you can add a custom command. Wait, why'd he clear chat? Here. Probably gonna raid his goofy ass, and then I'll walk him through that. So we'll do that, and then I'll jump in Discord with him and walk over everything. Koopa. Oh well, for one, it's already 4:30. I got some stuff to do, but I'm gonna raid him and then try to help him get his bot command set up.